John Matamoros wants to know who's the better comedy duo, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, or James Franco and Seth Rogen?
Tatum, and Jonah Hill. Yeah, that's.
I'm going with Franco and Rogen. They've been in more films together. They make me laugh. It's more consistent.
I think they've done more together, but I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say Tatum and Hill have better chemistry ultimately on screen.
If that question were asked before I saw 22 Jump Street, I probably would say, because I'm very happy with both of those comedic teamings. Very happy. This Is the End is awesome.
Right.
But after seeing 22 Jump Street, I got to stick with Jonah Hill and Tatum.
This is really hard. That's a really, really good question.
It's a great question.
After 22, because Channing Tatum, you don't think he'd be good at comedy, and he's so good at comedy. Jonah Hill's proven time and again. Now I want to see him do more dramatic as well. But I like the Franco Rogen as well, because Franco is so subtle, while Rogen is so, he's just a physical actor as well with his facial expression. So I like them both, but after 22, I also would inch that way a little bit more.
All right, what's next?
Brian Healy says the DiCaprio-Scorsese duo is always talked about, but what are your thoughts on the Fassbender-McQueen pairing? I think it's cinematic gold.
I mean, well, okay, let's start by saying they need a few more films under their belt to get there, but they're on the right track. The other thing is with the DiCaprio-Scorsese thing, it's always DiCaprio is the lead in the Scorsese film, and that hasn't always been the case with Fassbender. But if they make 3 or 4 more films together, I think you're going to be saying those names right up there with saying Scorsese, De Niro, Scorsese, DiCaprio. I think it could be, but they need more under their belt. How do you guys see it?
But those two, bam. They really were gold. And Fassbender...
It almost looked like a nut shot you were doing there. That was kind of low.
I mean, Shame, it's relevant.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Shame was so haunting. You know, it wasn't just the sex addict, Californication sex addict. It was
and I like Californication.
I know, but I'm just saying it was real and it was haunting and it was dark and it was just masterful. That's when I was like, Fassbender is here to stay for a long time. He's on his way to icon status. And 12 years, I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, he's so good at
they
that.
make gold together. I'm so excited for the next project.
What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
all been said. I mean,
I love their combination. They work really well together, and I can't wait to see more from both of them together.
All right, what's next?
Everything.
Robert Long wants to know if you would prefer Lex Luthor to take a main role, or would you prefer the Batman-Superman relationship to be the main role in Man of Steel?
This is an easy one.
I made a video last summer called 5 Keys to Batman vs. Superman Being Good. And this is before we knew Lex Luthor was going to be in it. This is before we knew Ben Affleck was going to be in it. This is before we knew any of this stuff. And one of the things I said, one of the points was that Lex Luthor has to be there.
Yeah.
Because Lex Luthor, regardless of the size of the role, he is the yin to Superman's yang. It's almost like part of who and what Superman is a little bit defined by his relationship to Lex Luthor. He's got to at least be there. But the other point I made in that 5 Things video was that you have to keep the emphasis on the dynamic and what's going on between Batman and Superman. I don't care if you throw in Wonder Woman. I don't care if you throw in a cameo by Cyborg or cameo by Aquaman or cameo by anybody, Lex Luthor, whatever. That's all fine, as long as the Hogs value of the whole movie is focused on Batman and Superman. So I would say for this film, have Luthor there. Obviously, he's going to be because we know who's playing him. But keep it. Don't keep it super small, but keep it as the side thing. Keep the main thing on Batman and Superman. That's how I see it. What do you guys?
Yeah, I agree fully.
It has to be that way. He's such a rich character. He shouldn't be in the shadow as well. And I mean, we've all talked about this so many times. We want this to still be Superman's movie, right? Batman's coming in. That's great. It's going to be an epic battle.
I don't want it to be Superman's movie.
Well, I wanted a Man of Steel
Batman
sequel.
And Superman's
I wanted
movie.
a straight Man of Steel sequel.
I don't know if this
I wanted
is
different. It's
technically
not,
the sequel.
because then we saw Nikki Finch's baby. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I don't want this to feel too overcrowded, and I do think cameos are the way. And if he is, his greatest foe, I want that to be built up slowly but surely. So he is super menacing.
Superman and Batman, if you see the animated films that Warner's done in the last few years, when they do Superman, Batman, Public Enemies or whatever, they're so fun together because they kind of have this combative relationship, and I would love to see that in live action. I want to see Batman and Superman be like brothers. Be like, I need you, but I hate you.
They're going to hug it out.
Yeah.
How Luthor's going to play in is him and Wayne are going to come together. That's my guess. It just makes sense after the destruction of Metropolis. And then, Batman will fight Superman, and then they'll team up and be pals, and fight Luthor and what else.
I should point out, too, that our next AMC Versus is actually going to be Batman versus Superman. That's going to be our AMC Versus that we're going to be recording later today. So keep your eye on that. Okay, let's do 2 more really quick.
David Bannister wants to know how Harrison Ford's injuries will affect the new Star Wars.
I think very little. Look, this actually happens a lot, where one of the actors gets injured, or in the case of Avengers, one of the actors gets pregnant, or whatever. You work around it. You rearrange schedules. You shoot B today instead of A today, whatever. Right. They'll be fine. They'll work around this. I don't think it's going to have any impact at all.
If it was, they would have probably announced it. They would have said something like, he's very injured. They were like, he hurt his ankle. Yeah, no big deal.
No running shots for Han Solo this week.
Seriously, when I saw the quote-unquote news that Harrison Ford hurt his ankle come out, I was like, the way people were like jumping on this was like, oh my gosh, Harrison Ford in hospital. It was like there was some intruder on the set of Star Wars who injected the Ebola virus into his ankle or something. He hurt his ankle.
That's a good storyline right there.
Yeah, that is a good storyline. But he'll be fine, and they'll work around it.
And how much action scenes is he really going to have? And he's in his 70s. Like, I'm sorry.
He's gonna shoot his laser gun.
Yeah.
His laser sword.
I was gonna say.
Although, did you see that cool picture they tweeted? I don't know if he tweeted it out or that he put out of him standing at his Harrison Ford director's chair, holding a white piece of paper that just said, "I shot first." That was awesome.
I don't know if that's real though, because that white piece, that little thing, that's been changed like 5 or 6 times.
Dreams.
The other one was like, a door fell on me, I'm okay. They're just like scrubbing it out. They're like, so I don't know if Han Solo has a goatee.
I have to look into that.
Yeah, I think that could have been like from a year ago before he was even playing Han Solo. We don't know if he's fresh shaved or whatever.
Wow.
Everyone was like, Han Solo's got a goatee. It's like, I don't know. I think that's
all right, last question of the day.
Paul De La Rosa wants to know if you've heard anything new about the Luke Evans Crow reboot.
Sorry, the Luke Evans what reboot?
Crow?
Just that it's happening. I mean, we've talked about this a lot of times on AMC Movie Talk. I think Luke Evans is a great choice. Mm-hmm. There was some talk about Tom Hiddleston, and that I would have been really happy with that casting too. But I think Luke Evans is great. Ironically enough, they also just released today the first poster for his new Dracula film, which actually it's a pretty good looking poster. I don't know if the movie's going to be any good. The poster looks pretty good, but I love Luke Evans as a performer. I think he's going to be great. I've said this before. I will say it again. I don't know if the movie will be better than the original Crow.
Can never be.
Luke Evans will give a better performance than Brandon Lee did.
Whoa.
Hey, he will. He will. I know that. I know everyone likes to cry but it's.
I'm not crying.
No, it's just. Let's be honest. Brandon, look at all of his films. Brandon Lee was beloved and from every account an awesome human being and all this kind of stuff, but he was not a great actor.
John, blasphemy. The Crow is awesome,
and
you're wrong.
I'm not saying it's not.
He's great as the Crow.
He is the Crow.
If he didn't die, there would have been another Crow and another Crow.
So many people get mad at me when I say that.
I'm not mad. You're just wrong. That's all. He's an awesome actor.
You'll learn. I am never wrong.
But it is
except for when I am.
And this happens to be
it's
one
subjective.
of those times.
I am never wrong.
My opinion is he's amazing as a
except for
Crow.
when I am.
I think I'm like a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to be great. I'm so emotionally connected to Brandon Lee. I love that movie, and I love him. So
it really will be interesting.
He has a big job.
But the funny thing is, as we age, and every year we hear about movies coming out, what year they came out. This is the 20th anniversary of this movie, whatever, and then we start to feel really old.
Yeah.
There are a lot of film goers who say they've never seen the original Crow.
Oh God!
Right.
I mean, isn't that
true?
Warped?
Yeah, they don't even know who Alex Proyas is.
Yeah,
that's a director that you should know his movies.
Yeah, it's really, really weird when you think about that term. But it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
That's a very intense film to jump into, though. Like Luke Evans, after The Hobbit, I'm not going to lie, he was really, really good.
Yeah, he's great.
And he is turning me around. But yeah, with all of that, like that's an eerie thing. And you're wrong about that.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.